now deep into the midst of the fall athletic season, and all of our teams are competing at a high level, not only looking for regular season success, but looking to go deep into postseason play. Among all our normal fall sports, this week was also homecoming, so we have some great highlights from the fun events to share with you. This week got kicked off on Monday night with the holding of North Marion's annual Brute Volleyball tournament. Fans packed into Gym 1 to support all the men volleyball players. This year's edition of the event brought in the biggest crowd in recent memory. The first game held was the freshmen versus the seniors. What is usually thought of as almost a bye for the seniors was actually a competitive game. The freshmen showed they were ready to play by scoring the first point of the night. The Gym 1 crowd went ecstatic, cheering hard for the underdog freshmen. Let's take you to the atmosphere of Gym 1 during the freshmen's first point. In the end, the seniors were able to hold their composure and defeat the freshmen. Game 2 consisted of the two middle classes, the juniors versus the sophomores. This game typically goes to the elder of the classes, but the sophomore class has been able to defeat juniors in the past. The junior team exhibited their talent by scoring the first 5 points of the match. The sophomores pulled within 3 at several points during the match, keeping the juniors on their toes throughout the whole game. The juniors consistently proved to be too much for the erratic sophomore team down the stretch as the juniors held on for the win. The consolation round exhibited the losers of the first games, those being the freshmen and the sophomore teams. Once again, the freshmen got off to a hot start as they led their predecessors by 6 at several points early in the match. The sophomores found their groove to take a big lead late. However, the sophomores did struggle to close out the match as the freshmen won on a tear late. In the end, the sophomores clung on to their slim lead for the victory. That left the Brute Volleyball student title to be decided between the juniors and the seniors. The seniors surrendered an early lead in the first set of the best of 3 games, but the seniors were able to regain their composure and take set 1. Set 2 was highlighted by some controversial situations, as for the majority of the second set, the juniors were playing without all 3 of their coaches. The seniors had some great plays as they ended up beating the juniors handily. As you can see, there were some great plays both ways, highlighted by this denial involving our own Wyatt Moore. The ultimate champion was to be decided in the final game of the night, which featured the staff team versus the seniors. The staff team was stacked with some great talent, including pronounced athletes such as Kelly Ione, Wade Murray, Kelsey Colley, and Polly Wagner. The staff displayed their dominance of the volleyball court, highlighted by Mr. Wagner's spikes into the faces of the helpless seniors. The staff pulled out the win over the seniors to win the Brute Volleyball title. The routine sports got this week's competitions underway on Tuesday. The girls' soccer team continued the challenging league schedule on Tuesday when they traveled to Estacada to play the Rangers. Estacada appeared to have the Huskies' number all night as the Rangers tallied 4 goals. North Marion had 2 goals of their own, scored by junior standout Jasmine Flores and Alexis Chilcota. On Thursday, the Huskies returned home to host the Madras White Buffaloes, who had a far journey to the Willamette Valley for the contest. A large majority of the team's key players sat on the bench for team discipline reasons, giving the younger athletes or reserve players good opportunities to prove themselves. They did just that as they went out and played a good game. Madras struggled to get anything going as most of the match was played on their defensive toes. Offensively for the Huskies, goals were scored by senior Jamie Gray and junior Paulina Duran. The match ended with a 2-1 score in favor of the Huskies. After the completion of this week's games, the Huskies' league record now stands at 2-3, while their overall record stands at a solid 6-3. Now we have a special team we would like to talk about. The JV2 Huskies football team picked up their first win since 2009, and it came against the perennial powerhouse in high school athletics, the LaSalle Falcons. With several of the team's leaders missing due to sickness, the outlook on the game, along with the weather, was dreary. Both sides struggled early on as the offensive attack was not present from either side, but then the Huskies coaching staff pulled a gadget play out of their sleeve as freshman running back Tyler Saucedo completed a touchdown pass on the HP pass to fellow freshman Kerry Cook. These were the only points scored by either team in the first half, as the Huskies led 6-0 after one. The second half got started off with a big boom as freshman Shane McKillop ran back the kickoff all the way to the 4-yard line, a 64-yard return. On the next play, the ball was handed off to Shane, who finished off what he had started by running the ball in from 4 yards out, granting the Huskies a 12-0 lead. LaSalle's passing game struggled, and the Huskies capitalized off its mistakes. North Marion picked out 4 passes. 3 of the interceptions were courtesy of freshman Josh Umbenhauer, while 1 came from Kerry Cook. The third and final touchdown of the afternoon came from Josh Umbenhauer, who produced a whole highlight reel of plays on the day. Josh received the pass and worked his way down inside the 5-yard line. The play appeared to be over, but Josh reached out and the touchdown signal came from the official, giving the Huskies an 18-0 lead, which would turn out to be the final margin. The volleyball team was once again in action in the midst of another busy week. Tuesday, the girls hosted Estacada. The first 2 matches were somewhat lopsided in the wrong team's favor, but the third set was very exciting despite the Huskies' close loss. Thursday, the girls journeyed over to Madras to play the White Buffaloes. There are many sports that Madras struggles in, but volleyball is not one of them. The White Buffaloes' exceptional use of teamwork always carries them deep into the postseason, and it looks like this year will be no different. Madras sent the Huskies home after sweeping North Marion in 3 sets. The volleyball team continued the road trip week with a hop over to the Oregon coast to compete in the Seaside Invitational. The team was sent home empty-handed once again as North Marion could not find their way to a win. Despite the tough week, the team still holds a respectable 2-3 record and are currently in position for a postseason berth. Wednesday featured another great homecoming event at North Marion, as it was time for the 2011 Powder Puff Games. The pouring rain Tuesday night and thunder throughout parts of the day on Wednesday set up a muddy and soaking wet night, but for the spectators at least, that is the best type. The seniors played the sophomores to open up the night. The seniors had loads of confidence heading into the game, as the sophomores barely had enough to field a full team. The sophomores gave up the ball on the first play of the game as the seniors recovered a fumble. Not too much later, Hannah Johnson took the ball into Hauser for a senior touchdown. At half, the seniors held a 6-0 lead. The seniors tacked on another touchdown in the second half and sealed the deal late as they knocked off the sophomores 12-0. The game that followed featured the juniors versus the freshmen. The freshman team's athleticism was much talked about, but that didn't faze the juniors as they were able to win, setting up the traditional seniors versus juniors championship game. The championship was very close as the game came down to the wire, but in the end the seniors proved their dominance in the school with a win in the Powder Puff Championship. The North Marion Cross Country Club competed on Wednesday at the Star City Cross Country Classic in Salem. There were 2 different race lengths to choose from, the 2-mile and then the 5K. In the 2-mile race, our own Logan Beiser finished first for North Marion with a time of 14:51. The first girls finisher was Teresa May with a 20:41. The majority of the runners ran the 5K race, which was topped off by Spencer Christie for North Marion, who finished with an 18:35. Hannah Surkamp did the same for the girls' 5K with a 23:17. Now it's time for the North Marion Athletics Flashback, where we take a look at our big game or event in Huskies history. This week, we're going to show you some highlights from the 2009 football team's win over Gladstone. The Huskies' 21-13 win was highlighted by 2 memorable plays. A punt blocked by then junior Austin Doucette, who pulled the hat trick by blocking the punt, recovering the fumble, and then taking it into the house. The second memorable play was when senior standout Jordan McCain knocked the ball loose with a jarring hit to a Gladstone offensive player. Jordan also pulled a triple play by knocking the ball loose, picking it up, and again running it all the way back. Jordan McCain had 113 rushing yards on the night, and senior Kelly Christensen had 4 receptions for over 80 yards. Excitement for the North Marion football team was at an all-time high as the Huskies improved their record to 4-1 after the win. And to talk about last Friday night's game against LaSalle, we have our football analyst Josh Hauser.
This Friday night, the Huskies hosted the number 5 ranked LaSalle Falcons in the culmination of homecoming week, the homecoming football game. Most people outside of the team counted the Huskies out early on, but North Marion proved they could play with the big guys. After 1 quarter, the Huskies held one of the most explosive offenses in the state to absolutely no points. The halftime margin stood at 10-0, and North Marion had a look at taking control of the game. LaSalle's offense came alive in the second half, scoring 27 additional points in the half. However, the 37 total points scored by the Falcons were the least allowed by any of LaSalle's opponents this year. North Marion had several amazing highlights over the course of the game. Junior Jesse Murphy had 2 Sports Center-worthy interceptions. Matt McLaren had 2 huge runs, one being 39 yards and the other 81 yards. Wyatt Moore had 2 touchdown passes on the night, one to senior Kyle Martin as the third quarter clock ran out, and another to Kellen Pippert, who made a terrific catch cutting back to the ball. Matt McLaren also broke up a pass, which was tipped high enough in the air for Kyle Martin to get under it and complete a 2-person interception play. The numbers that jumped out of the box score were Matt McLaren's 161 rushing yards. Also, Wyatt Moore threw 2 touchdowns while only throwing 1 interception. Wyatt easily outplayed LaSalle's veteran quarterback on the passing side. Kyle Martin had 7 catches for 75 yards, including the aforementioned touchdown. Defensively, Jesse Murphy's 2 interceptions obviously had a big impact. McLaren and Walker had 13 and 9 tackles respectively, while Pyatt and Packham each recorded 8 of their own. LaSalle played a sloppy game as they were plagued with penalties, finishing the game with 12 penalties for over 150 yards. Overall, the Huskies played extremely well against a highly ranked team, as evidenced by their defense holding LaSalle to the lowest point total of the season. And at halftime, the homecoming court was introduced, and girls soccer player Brianna Martinez was crowned as the 2011 North Marion High School homecoming queen. Back to you, Cole.
Thank you, Josh. On another note, North Marion High School will be forming a girls rugby team for the 2012 season. Come check out the fastest growing sport in America and the newest sport in the Olympics. There are currently 18 girl high school teams in Oregon playing a full contact, fast action union rugby. For more information, contact the people on your screen or head to the website rugbyoregon.org to learn more about the program and the other teams. Did you participate in any of the homecoming events this year? If you were involved in brute volleyball or powder puff football, both of these events are available in their entirety from NM Athletics. For either $5 each or $8 for both, you can be the proud owner of the entire event. With the combination of crystal clear HD video and the addition of slow motion instant replay and even a convenient scoreboard added on your screen, $5 for these DVDs is a great steal, which you should take advantage of. You can buy these in the office or from Mr. Murray or an NM Athletics member. Now let's send it over to Wyatt for this week's schedule.
Thank you, Cole. We have more very exciting upcoming events this week. The week gets started right off the bat as Monday the volleyball team will be starting round 2 of league play by hosting Moala Indians in Gym 1 at 6. Tuesday, both of our soccer teams are in action as they will begin playing the second round of league. Boys soccer hosts Moala at 4, whereas the girls soccer will travel to Moala for a 6 p.m. match. On Wednesday, the volleyball team goes to take on the tough LaSalle Falcons. The game will begin at 6 in the Brick Oven at LaSalle. And this week's football game will be held on Thursday as North Marion heads to Gladstone to play the Gladiators. The Huskies look to improve as they will face another talented team. That wraps up this week's sports schedule. Back to you, Cole.
Well, as much as we hate to say it, it's that time again. Thank you to all our faithful followers for watching yet another week in the life of North Marion Athletics. We are already looking forward to Week 8 as we will have some more exciting games, some news segments, and hopefully some Husky wins to talk about. That's it.